Okay, good evening. Welcome to
FamilyMath number 225a.
FamilyMath225a. So I posted our little talk about quadrilaterals on Twitter today. Parallelograms on Twitter today. And Patrick Hunter from New York posted a pretty good challenge problem. A bit left over from our movies this morning. Oh well, it's good enough. If a quadrilateral has a pair of opposite congruent sides and a pair of opposite congruent angles, is it a parallelogram? So I asked you to think about this today, and I'm very interested to hear your thoughts.
Well, I know this works in reverse. If it's a parallelogram, then it has a pair of opposite congruent sides and a pair of opposite congruent angles.
That's true, yeah.
So we have a pair of opposite congruent sides.
What does that mean, by the way?
So
that they're opposite congruent.
The sides have the same length.
They have the same length, okay.
So you can. This might not be the same length exactly, but
that's all right.
So you're gonna need these lines. These lines have to be the same for these angles. These lines have to be parallel in order for these angles to be the same.
Why is that?
Because they have to hit. Because these lines we know they're the same, so these lines have to hit at the same place on each line.
Well, what does it mean that they're the same?
So, well, it doesn't necessarily mean they're parallel.
Right, that's the tricky part here. They might not be parallel.
So it might look something like this.
Ah, yeah.
And then you could have this, where you have this angle. But is it similar? Is it the same as that angle?
Oh, that's actually an interesting question.
Doesn't seem like that would be the case.
Let's say those two angles were the same, by the way.
Yeah.
Does it look like that line and that line could be the same?
No, they wouldn't be the same because this would, when you straighten it out, would be longer.
Alright, that's interesting. So what do you think?
Well, it looks like for this to work, the opposite congruent sides are going to have to be parallel to each other.
Oh, okay. Okay. So if the opposite congruent sides are parallel, and then you have the same angles, what happens?
So then you're going to have these lines that intersect it also have to be parallel.
Okay, well that's a very interesting observation. So we're not quite sure about this statement yet. But if we make it just slightly more particular, if they're parallel, the opposite sides, and you have opposite angles the same, then it does seem like you get a parallelogram by the parallel postulate.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
So now how could we do it with the full thing?
Yeah. Let me try to draw one more picture and see